Greetings, loves, and welcome to Soul Search. And make sure you hit the like button, share this video out, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and click that notification bell. A lot of you probably know that this is Mica Miller, and Mica Miller was found in North Carolina, in Lumberton, Robeson County. So that's part of my home. And my youngest was born there. And this is just all too tragic to hear about. When I found out about this, I originally did a video, but for some reason I deleted it. I didn't post it. There's been a lot going on with this. Mica was the wife of a pastor, and his church is in South Carolina. And initially, a lot of people thought that he was responsible for what happened to her. They were going through a divorce. She filed for divorce, and then he filed for spousal support. Interesting. But he was denied, and then she filed for spousal support, and they had a hearing coming up for that. And a couple of days after she filed, on a Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, she was found in a park, and there were people at the park there that heard some commotion and shots and whatnot, and called. There were protests going on for a while at the church, and they were demanding that the husband, be investigated. And they were showing pictures of him after it happened at the bar with the woman. A lot of people were saying that it was his girlfriend, and that she had a husband who was paralyzed, who had also passed away, allegedly, because I didn't look this up for myself, but they say he passed away allegedly in a drowning or something like that. So, where the speculation went with that, you can see the pain in her eyes. Some of us know this look. This was, I believe, her very last post on her Facebook. And her husband went to his church on Sunday. And of course, everybody did not know yet. And, that is circulating as well. When he told his church at the end of service what happened. And it had not yet been ruled officially a self-ending situation. But at the end of the service, he told his church, he said, I am not going to do altar call today. I'm going to tell you guys something. And when I finish, I want you to leave. And don't talk about this here. Just, please leave. I may not, be around for a while, a couple of days. I don't know, but come worship, things of that nature, and give. He did say give. And then he said, I got a call last night. My wife was found in the woods. She used a pow. Y'all know that she was, suicidal. I don't know. YouTube doesn't like for you to use certain words, but it's just, I don't know. It's ridiculous. He also said that she talked about it in church, and she needed medication that he couldn't get to her. He said that. So it was kind of odd to people. He wasn't crying or anything like that, which, me personally, I don't judge people how they initially act. Grief is interesting. Very difficult, and it's things your brain has to even process. So depending on what situation you're in, it could take a while for all that to start to get through. It's pretty hard to think that someone you know is like literally no longer here. So when people judge how people grieve, I think that's weird. Been there. Okay, so it's really weird. But he also was doing an interview with the police, and he made it his point again to mention he's got plenty of tapes of her discussing with the church her struggles there with that. But she discussed other things too, that she was being abused. So that was a problem. Now, if you take a look at her Facebook, which some of you may have already seen this, but this post, this is her page, okay, April 17th, okay, was the last post, but this one, April 9th, it says, when terrible in capital letters things happen to you, and y'all know what I'm talking about. And she said, rest in peace, face. I mean, divorce is hard in itself, but here's another one. It's kind of long, but I really didn't see anything here. And she did take a trip to Africa. She got baptized in these pictures. These posts aren't available. And then there was this one.
I just wanted to say that I am so happy to be born into this country where we have job opportunities that are better than
okay, I'm not going to play that, but
what I've witnessed in other countries.
wow. So this is Mica singing and praising. Then there's this one, and she says, please share this with anyone struggling with leaving a dangerous situation because they think God is mad at them.
Situations of abuse. And I just want to tell you what a lot of people have told me lately, and reminded me, because I think I forgot. I knew, but I pushed it in the back of my head, just because of my situation. But you are the bride of Christ. Before anybody else's bride, male or female, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Abuse is abuse. And you are the bride of Christ. And my Bible says that he took all the abuse you could think of for you so that you didn't have to live that life of slavery and bondage and pain. Jesus took it all for you. So you don't have to stay in a abusive relationship, whether that's sexual, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs, or alcohol abuse, or physical abuse,
Okay, I'm sorry, y'all, but this is difficult for me to listen to. There are people close to her who she talked with them about things she was going through. I'm gonna leave it at that. You can find other information online if you want. Her eyes look puffy here as if she was crying. You know, they protested, you know, at the church. They came out pretty strong, and they insisted that, you know, Robeson County do an investigation, and there wasn't really much that they could say. And her sister had a strong post that I did include in my original video, but I won't include it here because, you know, things have changed a little bit. And so but she was saying that her mother was saying she was going to fly out there, and she told her, don't come here if you're grieving, because we're not there yet. We're fighting, you know. And what she was fighting for is for them to thoroughly investigate the situation, because they don't believe that she did that. And they really felt like he somehow had something to do with it. Now, where he lives in his church and where she was at, now you think in Lumberton in South Carolina, the Lumbee area, it was about an hour drive, I believe they said. So people were questioning about his alibi, his alleged girlfriend's alibi, and all that kind of stuff. And so I kind of kept up with it here and there. But, you know, I just recently discovered that they have released some new findings in her case. And I mean, either way, it's unfortunate because she's no longer here. But apparently this was self-inflicted. It's what they're ruling it as. So here's the release. They have the security. They pretty much outlined her day. They have the 911 call where she called and said, I'm about to do this, and I just want my family to know where to find me. Okay. So they have the ring footage of her leaving. And, okay, they're going to give us an ad. Oh, boy. Okay. So, this is Lumbee Park. So, I watched the ad just so I can see a second of the park sign. They showed it as being the Ring camera. How deceitful. So now I'm clicking a picture and, oh gosh. Okay. Oh wow. This is her in church. And I don't think she had any children. I know that her and her husband didn't have any together, but he had children. I think his previous wife passed away. I didn't really get into details on that because I was just waiting to see what was going to be the outcome. Oh gosh. Okay, so they have a lot of pictures. Okay, so we thought there was a video. That park is awesome too. Okay. So these pictures don't really... Okay. So they traced her to where she went from her phone. Now, this is where they're showing her go in and actually purchase a firearm. The same day? When did they start doing that? For a handgun? Like, just walk in and get one on the spot? I mean, I'm not going to speak against it, but if someone is going to use it and maybe need time to think, but if someone needs protection, so I'm not going to say either way, because at the end of the day, the issue is with the person and not the weapon. Oh man, that's a really heavy decision to make. I fully support anyone who chooses. A lot of people talk really badly about it, but it's you at the end of the day. Only you truly know what you're dealing with. And yes, I believe that sometimes it can seem to us that we're in a situation that you just can't see it being ideal for you in any way. And you just can't figure or see another way, and you just want to go. I mean, look at the state of the world. So I think it's disrespectful to condemn people and talk down on them for making a choice to exit. And I also think people pick and choose on who they condemn, because I don't see a lot of people condemning her, which I like that, but they are still, condemning the husband and pretty much saying he's to blame. A part of me can understand where some of that is coming from, but at the end of the day, if he didn't actually do it, we know that people can, bring havoc in people's lives sometimes. Sadness, hurt, whatever, to where they can, feel like they just want to end it. It happens with children and teens all the time, even with adults. The only thing that I can really say about that is just, be mindful of how you treat people, because you never know where they're at and what they're dealing with, and the effect that you could actually have on them. And you should care. It should matter. A lot of times people are taking out their own issues on others, and they justify it because of what they're going through. And it's not okay, because you can choose to separate yourself from someone rather than, why make life harder for anyone? Why do that? If you were to later hear something bad happen to them, or they did it to themselves, and you know that you probably caused a lot of their frustration and pain and hurt, and it would affect you some kind of way, it's nothing you can do at that point. It can't be undone. So, you just have to understand that everybody is traveling through this earth, and most of us are trying to figure it out, and that doesn't make us perfect. We make mistakes. To see someone who had family who loved them, clearly, the marriage didn't turn out how it was expected, or what have you. It's kind of odd to me to see her being concerned about God being disappointed about divorce, because she spoke on that. And she was saying, well, God doesn't like divorce, but does he like for you to be hurt and in pain, suffering, or something to that effect? Women, We have a lot of emotions, and your hormones can be out of whack sometimes, and that could really, really affect you. And that can be corrected if we understand that being a cause. And, I'm not speaking on anything that I don't know or maybe even haven't experienced. So if you don't believe me about anything I'm saying or you don't agree, that's fine. But don't be disrespectful, not under this post. Okay? I won't tolerate it. You will be blocked and reported. But yes, hormones can have a serious effect on you. Okay? In no way am I saying that was her issue, but I'm just pointing that out. I'm just saying that sometimes it can get better, even though we can't seem to see that. And it's pretty tough for me to see how there can't be some kind of imbalance or something going on with a person when they actually do have family, and they have a loving family, and they have family that care about them and will help them through whatever they're going through. Regardless of the divorce, because that is almost like it's grieving. It's almost like, somebody passing away, and it can get ugly and hurtful. But it also can get better. It can, and you would never believe it, but it can. But I just, sometimes what you're going through can be so strong that you're not able to clearly for yourself and at that time see that there's a possible way that it could get better. And one thing I do know, we can, call the devil, spirits, evil spirits, or what have you. I believe that can be a factor as well. But I do think that I believe in all that. Parasites, hormones, can all have an effect. Just sometimes people don't even know to consider these things, especially in the state that they're in, because it just feels that strong. But it's very difficult for me to be able to conceptualize how someone who can have family, they care about them and will be there for them, how they can't see how they can go on without there being some other influence there. Okay, I'm not going to just go with the husband and say, oh, she had mental illnesses and stuff like that, because if that's the case, why? What's causing it? What's causing the appearance? Even if there's a diagnosis, where did that diagnosis come from? Because I believe and I know for a fact that a lot of these diagnoses are things that can be solved, and they're coming from other things that you need to find a root cause of. And medically, they would love to just give you a diagnosis and give you medication, and that sometimes makes it worse. Doesn't help, but clearly she was sure about what she was wanting to do. Walked in, they have her here, she got the gun. And this station that I'm on sucks, okay? WPDE, y'all suck. So this is our car. At the park. And that's the last picture. All right, let's go to the article. don't play that video again. Hopefully it don't have a volume to it. I'm going to have to go back and pause it. Okay, but it says Miller, blah, 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 April 27th. That date is significant as well. I buried my mother on that date 19 years ago. So, I don't know. It's a lot going on here for me. But she was at Lumber River State Park. According to Robeson County Medical Examiner Dr. Richard Johnson. All right, so it says Dr. Johnson said, based on the nature of the wound, that is consistent with a self-inflicted wound, and it was not in the back of the head as had been speculated. And I was hearing a lot of speculation, so I really, I was waiting to see what the police were going to say, because everything we were hearing were really coming from other people. So clearly the husband knew more details than everybody else, and which is why he said what he said. But people really dogged him out for saying it. And they was like, oh, the police haven't even officially said it. But if he didn't say that, y'all would still be mad, because you would want to know who did it, what happened, and all that. So he's giving you a clear and uncut. Nobody else did this. And they turned him into the suspect and brought out a lot of things. I don't know if they're true or false, honestly. Even condemning him for being in a bar with a woman. I don't know the situation about the woman, but if you've just been told and had to identify your wife, preacher or no, can a man go sit in a bar and maybe have a drink? Because I don't know if he was drinking. But they're like, a pastor in a bar having a drink. Oh gosh, we know pastors have done worse things, and there's a lot of them out there that still do. So to go so hard at a man who just lost his wife, regardless of what they were going through, I don't know any of what anybody's saying to be necessarily true for myself. So I can't join that bandwagon. I just know what I saw from her on Facebook, and to me that is clear, and it really doesn't need to be said. You can take from it what you want. All right, so they're saying 10:13 a.m. she's seen on her Ring camera leaving her residence on Margarita Drive in Myrtle Beach. 11 a.m. she's seen on her Ring camera arriving at her residence. Okay. 11:38 she's seen on her Ring camera leaving the residence again. I wonder if they have cameras inside. Most people do. 12:12 p.m. Miller seen on the store surveillance walking into Dick's pawn shop. I bought a firearm from Dick's years and years and years ago. A 9. And that's on Myrtle Beach. Okay. 12:13 p.m. she's seen, and it looks like a smile on her face. But I guess, she's talking with the guy. I don't want to seem suspicious. 12:34 she's seen leaving Dick's Pawn after purchasing a weapon and ammunition. Just walk right in and get it. Okay. I guess why not? Bad guys can go wherever they go and get one. 1:06 p.m. her black Honda is seen traveling on Highway 501 near 4 Mile Road in Conway. 1:27 p.m. her black Honda is seen arriving at 41 Grocery and Grill, which is located on Highway 41 in Mullins. 1:35 p.m., she's seen leaving the store after buying a drink and gas. 2:54 p.m., 911 call was made from an 843 area code number. Mica Miller asked if her phone could be located, and then she stated clearly what she wanted to do. She hung up the phone before further information could be gathered by dispatch. The telecommunicator tried to call her back multiple times and was unable to make contact. The video that had the call was removed. There's another video, and you guys can go listen to it if you want to. 3:03 p.m., Robeson County deputies were dispatched to the Lumber River State Park for a well-being check and to attempt to locate Mica. 3:05 p.m., contact was made with the Lumber River Park superintendent, and 3:20, deputies request phone ping. Deputies arrived at Lumber River State Park and began the search with state park rangers. 3:33 p.m., Robeson County Sheriff's Office Aviation Division Air 3 SWAV drone were dispatched to Lumber River State Park. 3:42 p.m., telecommunicator contacted Verizon to request an updated location ping. At 3:50, detectives with Air 3 SWAV arrived at Lumber River State Park. While conducting an aerial search, detectives were approached by a person who said she found a bag while fishing with Mica's ID inside. Detectives took possession of the bag. The Robeson County Sheriff's Office findings said that this person heard crying and then a shot. Wow. The person stated that he went further into the slough where he found the bag about 2 feet from the water's edge. 4:23 p.m., an individual contacted Robeson County and said he located a body in the water. He had been fishing on his kayak when he found it, and searching deputies secured the area for an investigation. 5:30 p.m., Sheriff of Detectives for RCSO arrives at the incident location, and 5:54 p.m., detectives in RCSO arrive at the incident location. The medical examiner was contacted and requested CSI technician photograph the area of investigation to include the vehicle belonging to Mica Miller. The items of evidence were collected from her car in incident location. Investigators located a Sig Sauer case in the passenger seat of the vehicle and a box of ammunition in the center console of the vehicle. Investigators also found a receipt for the handgun from a pawn shop. Oh gosh, imagine the guy who sold this to her. I mean, just knowing, and they found a receipt from a convenience store in the vehicle, and both receipts were dated for the same day of her passing. The serial number on the weapon found in the water at the crime scene matched the gun box that was found in Miller's Honda Accord. 7:11 p.m., firearm is located in the water. Okay, I thought they said that earlier, but okay. April 26 and 27, John Paul Miller's whereabouts. Now, the investigation also revealed that Miller and her estranged husband, John Paul Miller, had been separated and were involved in the legal system. Okay, nice way of saying they were battling it out. Deputies said this information led investigators to confirm his whereabouts and a woman John Paul is allegedly romantically involved with. Investigators confirmed that both were not in North Carolina on the night before or the day of. It's only an hour away, but okay. Investigators determined that John Paul traveled to Charleston for a sporting event on the 26th, the day before. They're not saying if he was alone or if he was with the woman. So I'm assuming she found... okay, you know what? I'm not assuming anything. Just... So this was proven through eyewitnesses and license plate readers, detectives. Any pings? Did you get any pings? I mean, I know you did better than that, right? I'm just saying. Okay, license plate readers, detectives confirm he stayed overnight in the Charleston area. John Paul Miller returned to Myrtle Beach on April 27th while traveling to and from Charleston. He was with other people. Mica's family met with deputies to discuss their investigation findings. However, John Paul Miller asked the Robeson County Sheriff's Office to meet him in South Carolina. Sheriff Bernice Wilkins said they do not plan to travel to South Carolina. I mean, it's only an hour away. He could afford to drive there. Even if he couldn't, his church would have gave him some gas money or whatnot. He was already traveling. And yes, he has children, but he has a whole church. I know somebody. So I can't think of an excuse. Except for he just didn't feel like it. Okay. So that's alright, so they're talking about the announcement, which I'm not gonna watch that again, but that's pretty much it. Wow. Okay. Oh, wow. Alright, so I'm reading an article here, and they said that the sister said that she feared for her life. Following Mica Miller's passing, her sister Sierra Francis sought to be appointed special administrator of her estate. The court document filed on May 3rd listed Mica's passing as suspicious circumstances, which are currently being investigated by the Robeson County authorities. Now, the document also states that prior to her passing, Mica Miller had sought a restraining order against her husband, although it is believed it was not served. An affidavit filed by Sierra Francis states, "I know my sister to have expressed the abuse and violence against her by her husband to others, including family members and members of the church congregation." Yet they still attended church there? Is that how that went? So the document goes on to say that Mica indicated that there were people following her and keeping track of where she went. Her sister said in the document that Mica had expressed that she was fearful and that if I end up, in my head, it was not by me, it was John Paul. Are we suggesting that maybe she purchased that for protection? But then how do you explain the 911 call? I don't know. So Mica had filed for separation on April 15th from John Paul Miller. According to the affidavit, her husband was served papers on the 25th. And y'all just said he wasn't served at the time. Okay, whatever. She was found on the 27th. Okay. Wow. So they say the reports show that on March 11th, Mica's tires were slashed when she was at the Springmaid Pier around 1:30 a.m. and she reported this to Horry County Police. Oh my goodness. So later that morning around 11:30, she called police again about harassment, saying a man whom she has been avoiding came up to her at a gas station and he tried to speak with her. He also been calling and texting her despite the fact that Mica had blocked his number. She then told police she feared for her life. Mica says she had tried to get a restraining order against the suspect who was not named in the reports. Well, that's unfortunate. Maybe she didn't know his name, because if she's trying to get one, why wouldn't she give a name? A mechanic also found a GPS tracker on her car. According to public online records, Mica had filed for divorce in October of 2023. However, it was disposed on February 12, 2024. The dismissal of the divorce said the couple indicated they may be able to resolve the issues between them. A post-nuptial agreement was filed a year before the dismissal between Mica and John on February 12, 2023 regarding what would happen if they were to divorce. Now, Mica was employed at the time as the church's creative director, and the couple both waived their right to seek alimony or separate support in the agreement. In addition, the home that the couple share, which is owned by the church, would not be included in the marital property. It's his church, right? Okay. So the agreement, which was signed by both Mica and John, said that the couple agreed to not speak negatively of Solid Rock Ministries and to keep their personal life confidential. Now, records also show that John Paul filed for separation on February 22nd, 2024, and the document indicated that the couple had separated in early February and had lived apart since that time. Now, the filing was dismissed on March 11th and was followed by Mica filing for separation on April 2024. Oh, this sounds like a lot of confusion or something was going on here. Wow. Okay, look like I'm running out of space, so this may shut off. John Paul Miller confirmed that his wife had filed and he was notified of her passing. He was told that Mica had purchased blah 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 blah. She was found in her vehicle. Another article says she was found in the water. Oh boy. Miller described his wife's battle with mental illness, adding that this wasn't the first time she tried to do this. Mica has been open about her struggles, posting videos about it on social media and offering testimonies at church, and he denied any abuse on her. She had been in a hospital in February, one of many times Mica had been placed during their marriage. Mica Miller's family has not responded to the request to comment. They did not have any children of their own, but John Paul had 5 from a previous marriage, which ended in 2016. Did she pass away? Because that's what people are saying. Mica and John were married November 7, 2017, according to court documents, and she was 23 and he was 38. Rest in peace. Whatever it was, it's all over now.